Welcome back. This is Hamster, the first rodent hunter, here with another Bloodborne PvP video. I've been keeping my promise. I've been doing one for Dark Souls Remaster and one for Bloodborne, and I intend to keep it that way, at least for a little bit longer. So welcome back. I'm not gonna let this person leave this little area here. Actually, I cut down the duration of this video because we were just doing this cat and mouse thing for what seemed like forever. This person did not want to fight me, and they just wanted to escape this area. For those of you that are familiar with Yahar Ghul, which is the area that I'm in right now in this clip, this person did not want to go the other way, because you can leave through the balcony. But they didn't want to do it because there's enemies down there, and they can really mess you up if you're not focusing only on them. So if you have an invader chasing you down and you got those enemies helping him out, they can do a lot of damage. They can really just melt you away and kill you. So this person is trying to avoid it. So, this little game here, I don't mind it, but take notice that I'm sort of acting like an NPC. I'm sort of resetting in front of the stairs. through the one way that this person wants to go through. I'm just sort of staying there. But finally, this person just bites the bullet and decides to go ahead and go the danger route. I'm trying to I'm being such a fucking asshole. I'm trying to block the way, maybe get that person killed, and it doesn't happen, spoilers, but that's kind of a neat little interaction, and you're gonna see a few of those in this video. Just sort of those little weird, not necessarily, just straight up fights, just little weird interactions like that. So you see that I start to chase the host down, and the host is going like really far. Like the host is running the fuck away. I don't know why. I'm not that dangerous. I mean, I do have my damage. I mean, I don't do absurd amounts of damage. I'm not super 27%ed. But this person clearly is not a PvP experienced, and that's okay. That's why I try to just block their way, literally. And you see there, I don't even get the kill. The old man gets the kill for me. So that's just basically invader harassment there. It was fun. It was very fun. I don't enjoy bullying new players or anything like that. It's just that weird interactions like that are they're pretty fun. They're pretty fun to experience. Anyway, I have been trying actually to play Dark Souls 2 to get the footage for that video I told you that I wanted to do with the whole, PvP retrospective, the evolution of the Souls games, PvP and all that. Dark Souls 2 is being quite a fucking bitch. Dark Souls 2 is giving me a lot of connection issues. It's kicking me out of the online. I tried the arena earlier, but there was like no one. I have been having a lot of problems with my internet too. I don't have the best internet, but by a long shot, because of where I live. I'm hoping that, in the future that really changes as soon as I can move out of where I am. But yeah, Dark Souls 2, man, I have such bad and good things to say about that game, but I guess I should just save that for an actual Dark Souls 2 video. Or the PvP video. Honestly, I could do like a whole video just on what I think about the Dark Souls 2 PvE. That alone is like a full video for me. But anyway, that's focusing a little bit more on the negative, and that's something that I've been noticing. There's a lot of negativity on the internet. There's a lot of negativity within the community, the Souls community or the Soulsborne community, whatever you want to call it. And I've slowly noticed that my commentary gets a little bit more hateful depending on the subject. So these are topics that I will no longer cover about PvP specifically. I will not cover balance. You know, I will not cover balance in terms of, you know, weapons and stuff like that. You see in this clip also, it's kind of like a little bit more harassment. Chasing down a guy and he gets killed by the PvE again. The balance, and I don't want to talk about it because it's sort of pointless in my eyes, because more or less we kind of know what's going to be good in these games already. You know, the fast weapons that are kind of absurdly fast and they can deal a lot of damage. Think of like curved swords in Dark Souls 3 and curved swords, excuse me. Curved penises in Dark Souls 1. That's the kind of weapon that really stands out in these games as being really good. I tried to meme these guys with my Beast Roar. I try to meme them off the roof, but it didn't work, but it's okay. They mashed themselves to death because they wanted to just trade forever. So yeah, balance. It's not, you know, useful to anyone to talk about like my thoughts about the top tier weapons or the best weapons. Look at that guy. He was so polite. He left me alone with the host, and then I get shot in the face forever. You cannot do this if you're fighting a blood cop, because they will just one-shot you in the head. They will do the real-life bullet damage. That was nicely timed, that gesture. Bloodborne is such a fucking fun game. I have a blast, even just looking at this footage. Anyway, balance. I will not talk about balance because we know what's going to be good, more or less. There's no point in arguing or bitching about it because it's just not going to change. It's just the nature of the mechanics in the games. At least it's sort of true, sort of for Dark Souls. I don't think that applies too much to Bloodborne. Like I mentioned in my other video, Bloodborne lets you have more freedom when it comes to, you know, the viability of some weapons. It's not about weapons being viable or not. That's not really what it's about. Take a deeper look at it, really. It means that the game mechanics themselves, they let you use a bunch of different weapons. All of them, pretty much. I would say that one of the hardest ones to use is the stake driver, only because it's pretty short range, but that's about it. You can still hit people with it, obviously. It's not slow or anything, you know, so it's not the weapon's fault or anything. It's just that it's short ranged, and that's not really its own fault, I want to say, because that's the way they made it. You know, the weapon itself is not at fault. You know, fuck you, stake driver. Why are you like this? That's how they made it, man, because they wanted to make it sort of like a, I don't know, PvE weapon because of the charged R2. You can really just fuck a bunch of bosses with that. But it's still good for PvP, you know, it's not like super garbage. Anyway, balance. I'm not going to really cover balance anymore. I'm not going to talk about balance because it's really pointless at this point. It's also subjective, much like pretty much everything in these games. Specific topics, you know, they're very subjective. They're very based on opinions. They're based on like which game the person in question played first. There's bias. I'm obviously biased for Bloodborne. I don't hide it. I don't pretend that I'm not super biased and that I don't have my Bloodborne goggles at all times. I do, but it's because I'm really passionate about this game. I think it's amazing, and I absolutely adore the PvP. The other thing I'm going to stop talking about, and it's basically these two. It's going to be balance, and the other one is going to be the subject of competitive play in these games. I know that I've mentioned it a lot in my videos. I've made fun of people. I've made snarky, sarcastic comments. But the reality is that I sort of make it sound like it's a bigger issue than what it really is. My main concern with it, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before, is that a lot of casual players, they focus on making themselves a meta build because they think that's the only thing that's going to be good. So they really rob themselves of the experience. Quick story. One of my friends, a cousin of one of my friends, He was playing through Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. And I believe for Dark Souls 3, he actually researched, before he even started the game or as he was playing the game, he actually researched, meta PvP builds, and he ended up with Demon Scar, Pyromancer, some fuckface or other, I don't know. And the point is that he basically didn't make the character that he could have potentially shaped to be his own. He basically went on YouTube and he would just copy paste whatever he saw in some video or other. That right there is what I'm completely against. And again, people are free to do whatever they want. I just think that it's not healthy for the online interactions, for the PvP. You get these people that are new to the series and they just hop on the meta train, and it's just like it becomes boring to fight the same build over and over. It's a build, it's not a character. People don't have characters anymore. You know how I'm always preaching about that bullshit. They just have like a copy paste build and it becomes extremely boring. So yeah, I'm just not gonna talk about, people that take these games seriously. If they want to do that, fine. I'm just not gonna talk about it, because in reality, outside of these videos, I don't really even think about it. It's just opinions. Like I said, I talk about it because it's just something to talk about. That's all it is, really. I don't hate anyone in particular if they ever play competitive or whatever. I just don't necessarily agree with the mentality, and I don't agree with it. That's all. We're human. We're bound to disagree. So that's that. Those two topics are two topics that I'm just not going to go in depth about anymore. I may mention them, but I'm not going to make entire videos of them. Also, I don't feel like I have any arguments when it comes to like the competitive thing, because the competitive players or the competitive play, it sort of proves to others that are more observant. It proves what I'm saying just by showcasing the flaws in the combat system. So the competitive play, more or less, it kind of just does my job for me just by existing, because it showcases what's wrong with the game and what isn't wrong. This guy tried to be really cheeky. Look at that. Sneaky. I had to applaud him in the middle of an invasion. I was thoroughly impressed. That was some movie shit right there. I caught a glimpse of it though, and I knew. I was like, this doesn't feel right. He's gonna step on the button. But I caught him. Part of me wishes that I would have gotten hit by that and killed, honestly. I would have messaged him and I would have been like, yo, that was some top tier fucking Scooby-Doo shit right there, man. Good game. But anyway, on a kind of silly note, I want to mention that Bloodborne, really, another reason why I love it so much, more to the pile, it really made me have hope again in video games. I know that sounds really silly and forced and kind of cringy even. But the reason why it made me have hope again is because it really shows me that there's still people out there in the video game industry that they have talent. They have real talent, and they have a good knack for game design. They have a knack for, just designing in fucking everything, Bloodborne, of course, Japan Studio helped them out. It wasn't just FromSoft. And I'm sure that a lot of the amazing things in Bloodborne are just FromSoft had nothing to do with it. I'm absolutely sure of that. I'm sure that Japan Studio did a bunch of work, and it goes, I think, a little bit unappreciated because everyone is so focused on FromSoft. I appreciate it. I know that Japan Studio is just or is it Studio Japan? Am I saying it wrong? Those guys. Anyway, I'm so sorry if I got it wrong, but it's two studios that worked on this. So their work is not going to go unappreciated, because I know that they probably had a lot to do with the quality of this game. I want to mention also another thing that I want to talk about is the psychological effect of invaders. The psychological effect that invaders have on hosts, I should say. When an invader invades, Usually they become the focus of the host and his phantoms, or his co-opers in this case. When me and my friend are playing a co-op run and we get invaded, we don't give a fuck. Like, I actively tell my friend, like, fuck it, the guy invaded, well, whatever, let's keep playing. I have run past invaders like they're just pieces of shit on the floor. I'm like, ew. And they just sidestep them and just, whatever. The reason for that is because I think invaders thrive on this fucking silly cliff kill. That's gonna be a theme in this video, just hosts dying to the environment. Invaders count on the surprise factor of where they are at the time and what they are using. And this includes weapons, tactics, and probably gimmick builds, if that's the case, if it applies for the game in question. For Bloodborne, it doesn't quite apply. There's not really any gimmick builds here, or, broken builds or whatever. The closest would be like Blood Tinge, maybe, but you can nullify bullets with a shield, the wooden shield or the lock shield. The lock, I don't know, loch, whatever, the shields. My intention in this fight was to just let the guy just die by the maddening whispers of the Great Ones. So, oh man, it really is a theme. They're gonna get killed by the environment. So, for example, an ambush with the PvE. An invader will often try to ambush people when they're fighting the PvE enemies. And this includes stuff like, aside from the PvE, it includes like the use of projectiles or items. Projectiles in this case would be like my blood cop. He has a really powerful fucking gun. He can really just one-shot your buddies and whatever. Projectiles, in the case of Dark Souls, it would be like magic, stuff like that. Or items. In the case of Bloodborne, it's going to be like blue elixir, lead elixir. If a player doesn't know what the lead elixir does, which is basically poise in liquid form, it's a drinkable poise, infinite poise. So if they don't know, you can drink one of those and you can literally just R1 mash them to death, because they're going to try to hit you forever and you're just going to tank everything. So it's stuff like that invaders really count on when it comes to surprising or to actually invading, doing the act of invading. When a host and the phantoms don't care about the invader and they go about their way, the calm setting of that really allows them to counter the invader more effectively. For example, again, with me and my friend, what we would do is we would just kill the PvE enemies like we would normally, and just not worry about the invader. I remember in the case of like Dark Souls 3 and stuff like that, we already knew like the generic meta builds and the generic setups, the gimmicky setups or whatever. And more often than not, we just wouldn't give a shit, because it's like, yeah, dude, you got some fucking build you got off of Mugen Monkey or from YouTube, and it's like, we already know how to deal with it. We know how to deal with it. And we're not dumb. We don't just rush someone and just R1 mash. Like, we actually do some pincer attacking and just, we don't just gank a dude. We just use some tactics indirectly, because we don't actually plan it. While I'm talking to him, I don't go like, okay, we're going to do the pincer maneuver and we're going to execute order 59, 69, 420, 6969. Nothing like that. It's just like, it comes natural, because we're just not players that panic. And did you see the damage that guy did on me? And then I went for the host. I didn't give a shit. At the start of the game, this is the start of the game, and I fucking hate blood gems. I shouldn't, because blood gems allowed me to kill that guy, the host. So yeah, when you ignore an invader, you take power away from them, basically. So that part of the unexpected, or the surprise factor, I should say, the expectations, that's something that really can mess with a host and his phantoms. These are all simple observations that I've made. I'm making it sound way more complex than it really is. It's not. These are all just observations that I've made over the years of playing Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff like that, and invading so much. So when you ignore an invader, it's like you're basically denying them sort of doing their job. These guys, as an example, these guys, they don't have to fight me. And I've mentioned this before. The host has a lot of power. They get to choose who they fight and who they don't fight. The fact that people choose to fight, and again, I don't want to make it sound like this is some deep psychological analysis or anything. The fact that a lot of people choose to fight, it's really telling of their own personality. At least when it comes to like playing video games, they're fighters. They're not cowards. If they fight an invader, in the case of Bloodborne, if a guy has two buddies with him and you kill his two buddies and the host doesn't run and he decides to fight you, then he's being gutsy. He says, okay, I saw what you did, but I'm gonna give it a go now. I'm gonna try to fight you. I don't care. And there's a lot of chicken shit hosts that are gonna run, and we've talked about them before. I don't mind them, because again, they can do whatever they want. I'm just there to kill. I'm there to hunt. A hunter must hunt. So I'm just there to kill. I'm just there to hunt. They can deal with the situation in whatever way they want or choose to do so. So with that said, I think that 3v1s are the best at showcasing Bloodborne's combat in its entirety, provided that the invader doesn't insta-die, which can happen. It can happen. Not necessarily with, a bunch of high-level gemmed-out guys. As I mentioned, 3v1s, you're going to be seeing a 3v1. I don't remember if this guy was AFK. Yeah, he was. So they're doing a half-decent job at protecting him, but not really. So it was kind of unfortunate because, believe it or not, when I see AFK people, in a group of three, this has happened to me a lot, what you just saw. A group of three people, but one of them is AFK. I always get sad because it's like, I'm going to have to kill this guy now. If it's the host, I'll let the host live. In fact, I have had invasions in Bloodborne in which the host was AFK. I killed his two friends, and they came back, and I killed them again. Sadly, I don't remember if I recorded it. If I did, it's somewhere in my gigs and gigs of Bloodborne footage. I'm hoping I can find it and show it to you someday, but it's a fun thing. I'll often also let hosts summon if they're already in the process of summoning. Like, I'm not going to attack. It may seem like I'm being cocky, yeah, I'll let him summon his friends. I'm so fucking good. I'm sure I can kick the shit out of them. And most of the times I do, but again, it's not because I'm good. It's just that I analyze the situation and I sort of study them. This guy's an R1 masher, so I can eventually get him with a parry, and I can just visceral him to death. Or this host is a runner. I have to keep in mind that he's gonna run. He may go to the boss fog door, so I gotta keep my distance so I can block him and block the way to the boss or something like that. So you see, it's just sort of a way for me to face different situations, because it's no fun for me in Bloodborne to invade a solo host and just kill him quickly. Like, that's not fun. That's not what I like about the game. This host in particular, he was like the cherry on top after I killed his friend, and he sealed his fate really when he began to roll, because the roll is just not great for actually dodging, as I've mentioned before. It's good for certain situations, but not really for actually dodging attacks. So, with all the things that I've mentioned in this video, I just want to recap a little bit, So I'm not going to talk about competitive or balance, because it doesn't mean that I'm just not going to talk about it, period. I may mention something, but I'm not going to cover it too much, because I don't like making entire videos on just one subject. I like to cover a variety of things like I have today. So basically, the invaders should always be a little bit more aware and more bizarre in their behavior to confuse a host or to employ more unorthodox tactics. So the host doesn't just be like, oh, whatever, you can just fucking ignore him. Because it really takes away your power. I have been ignored before, and let me tell you, it hurts. It really hurts. I actually cut off this invasion because the guy was running for like 6 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I will see you on the next one. Join me in the last couple of seconds of this video for something bizarre. Thank you for watching.